Hi, I'm Melissa with A Creative Journey with Melissa, and today I'm going to show you how to do some super quick cards. There are 5 cards. It is pattern paper and our awesome sign language sentiment stamp set, and I think you're going to love it. So let's get started here. You need your card base, you need your pattern paper, you need the paper so you can stamp your sentiment, you need your ink, your block, your adhesive, your foam squares for the 3-dimensional look. You need your scissors, your twine, and of course our awesome stamp set. This is what you'll be making, and actually you'll be making 5 of them. So let me give you a close-up shot here. This is just one. It's a pretty simple design. Once again, I like to do quick ones so that you have that, so that you can keep them in your stash. I like to have cards on hand, so this is very helpful, especially if you want to use up your scraps. Okay? So that's the card. I'm going to show you the other ones we did too. This here is the stamp set. This is the sign language sentiment stamp set. It pretty much covers anything. It's got celebrate, love, you, and also the R for your. Thinking of you, thinking of your birthday, could be a whole bunch of different stuff. Best wishes, birthday, happy for you, etc., etc. So there's a lot of different combinations you can use with this. I chose today to use celebration. Celebrate. So let's get started. I'm going to put everything aside. I'm going to keep this out. We're going to start with stamping the sentiment. We're going to put the card base and the card decorative card aside. Okay. So we don't need any of this stuff right now. Now let me show you real quick. These are the other ones that I did, so you can get a look at those real quick too. We have this one, and like I said, they're all pretty basic designs. You could add some glitter, you could add some more dimension if you wish. You could add a whole bunch of different things to make this set really a cute one. You could even do this for a gift. So there's a lot of great things you can do with this, and like I said, it is pattern paper, awesome for scraps, a stamp, twine, paper, card base, you're set. Okay? So let's stick those on the side. So first we're going to start here. We have this, and I have my own stamp set that I've already used, so we're going to use the one that's open. Now if you're not familiar with photopolymer stamps, they are sticky by design. Their actual material is sticky. So you can stick them to a slick surface. You could even use a CD case or a whole bunch of different things. I choose to use our acrylic blocks. I love them, and the reason why I love them, besides the fact that I think they're great, is because you can use the line-up grid here and make sure that you're all lined up straight. So that works out really well. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our ink. We're going to, we're going to take out our sentiment pieces of paper. Now remember, if you make a mistake on one side, you can always flip it over and use the other, okay? So that way you're not utilizing too much of your ink. I'm going to wipe my hands off. I just noticed I have some ink on my hands here. Okay, put that aside. Okay, so what I do, and this is just a ritual I do, is I ink it 5 times, and then I stamp it right like this. And then we're going to do another one. Trying to make sure that we get all the ink on there. That might have been 6. And stamp that. Okay, put that aside. Again, I'm doing this in a mass quantity type situation here, so that way you can do it and have them on the side. So if this video is a little bit too long, you can always fast forward to the next step. But I wanted to show you exactly how long it'll take you to make these. And I wanted it real time, not just me running through rushing, because to me that's not really realistic. Now I did pre-cut the paper. To me that's something that I typically do anyway, so I didn't think that was too far-fetched. And it really depends on what size you're going to be using in order to find out what size you would need. Now again, it's all basically a design choice. If you like to have a little bit bigger sentiment, you can do that. That is crooked. So I'm going to do it again. So I'm just going to flip it right over. And I'm going to do it right there. I think that's better. Oh yeah. Okay. So we've got our 5 there. We're going to put those extra pieces away. We don't need our stamp block. We don't need our ink. We're set there. And we can put our stamps aside. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to take our twine and I'm going to wrap them really quickly. Okay? Again, if you don't want to be bored with the wrapping of the twine, by all means, please fast forward. So we're just going to wrap these cuties like this. 1, 2, 3, just like that. And tighten a knot. And we'll move to the next one. Again. 1, 2, 3. And we'll tie it in a knot. And I know that, whoops, although right now I'm not showing this ability, but I know that most of you know how to tie a knot. I'm just showing you that there's, right now I'm not doing a very good job at it, but I again wanted to show you exactly how long it took me to do all these so that you have an idea that this is real. Oh, I did an extra one. Well, a little bit of change in design choice, right? So we'll do this. And then we've got 2 more. Okay. Pull that a little bit tighter. Okay. And then we have, whoopsie. And then we have this. We didn't need the extra one. I had an extra piece of string, so I put that aside. So again, you can use these stamps for really anything. You can use them for graduation, anything that you're celebrating, whether it's a new baby, graduation, promotion, some exciting news, whatever you want to share or whatever you want to celebrate. Of course, birthday, anniversary, anything like that, you're welcome to use that for as well. So it's really a great set. And I personally love it just because it is so versatile. And I try to create stamp sets that are versatile so that you can have a whole bunch of different uses for one set. To me, that's more economical. Okay? So right now we're just going to trim that off. And I'm going to trim this one off here. You know, I don't like that one. I think I'm going to redo that real quick. This is the mistake piece of paper. I didn't do a very good job tying a knot here, so I'm going to redo it. I don't like the way it looks. 1, 2, 3. Tie a little knot. It was a little bit looser than I care for. And everybody makes mistakes. So if you make a mistake, you can choose whether you want to fix it or not. I chose to fix it. It was a little bit loose. I was worried that it was going to actually fall off the creation. Okay, so that's those 2. And this is actually a little bit longer than I care for, so let me trim that up a little bit more. Okay, trim this one, and we'll trim this one, and last but not least, this one. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to get our foam squares out and just place those on the back so that those are ready to go. So I'm going to straighten these strings out just a little bit, just so they're a little bit spread apart, and then put the foam squares on the back. We're going to do 1, 2, and 3. Now sometimes if you're mailing these cards, you have to be careful because that might be a little bit thicker than the post office likes. So depending on what thickness of your foam squares you're using will depend on whether or not there's an issue. I have not had issues with these. These are thick enough for the three-dimensional, but they're not too thick so that it causes a problem at the post office. But you may want to double check with your post office just to be sure that you're not doing something that might have your letter or your card to go back, and that would really stink if you got it back when it was maybe too late for the celebration or whatever, okay? So, put these foam squares on here. And as you can see, I'm just throwing them in there. Doesn't have to be perfect by any means. Let's see what this string looks like. We'll fix this just a little bit. Don't want to put adhesive on it if it's not going to look like that. Otherwise you'll stick it to the wrong place. So we'll fix that real quick and spread that apart. Okay. And put that right there. And last but not least, oops, let's make sure this looks good. We're going to scoot that over. We're going to make this design a little bit straight. Okay. So then we put this right here. And yes, this is the one that I redid so that you know you can use the back side of your paper so you don't need to waste. Okay, so we're going to set those aside. So here's all this celebrates. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my cards and my card bases and my adhesive. Okay. So, oops, and a piece of string. Okay, so we have our card bases, our pre-cut paper, and we have our adhesive. This is pretty simple. We're just gonna put some adhesive on corners here. I'm doing kind of like a production line so that you can see how fast you can put these together. If you're making, say, Christmas cards, you could do Christmas cards. You could do different creations for, say for example, a baby shower. Say you wanted to do celebrate on the front of that. Whatever you would like, you could use this design for anything, and you can make a super duper amount of them relatively quickly. So I'm just doing all of the adhesive at the same time. I'm going to set my adhesive aside. I'm going to pick up my card, and basically I'm going to put it on. So here we go. Just line this up, push down. Same thing. Like I said, it goes pretty quick, but if you're watching a video and you're an advanced scrapbooker or card maker, this may be a little bit boring for you. But if that's the case, more than likely you'll probably just look at the design and go, oh, I know how to do that, and you'll be all set. But I do like to give some ideas for people that like to make mass quantity cards and make quick cards, because it is sometimes hard to do really quick cards that look cute. And simple designs to me are always helpful, just because it's not necessarily it doesn't necessarily have to be super fancy. It just has to be that the thought is carried out and that you're putting your love into the design. Okay, so now we have all of our cards here. Okay, so now the easy part begins. So we're just going to take this, peel off the back paper. There's 3 of these. And we're going to put it on. And there's one done. And like I said, you can do them in different ways. Like if you wanted to cut all your paper first and maybe put all the cards together first, you're always welcome to do that, of course. This is just to give you a basic idea. The reason why sign language stamps are so important to me is because both my paternal grandmother and grandfather, that unfortunately have passed, were deaf, and my brother, my older brother, is deaf as well. So sign language was really probably closer to my first language than any other language, because I was pretty young when I started it, because we spoke sign language fluently in our home because of my brother, and I really think it's a beautiful language. We had a sign language interpreter at my wedding. I got more compliments about that than anything else, which I was actually honored, because I thought it was really cool that people were really enjoying the sign language interpreter. My brother stood up for the wedding, so I thought it was only fitting that he have somebody that could interpret what was going on while we were standing up at the altar, and I thought it was really great. So, well, we're almost done with the last one. And we're all set. So here you go. You have your 5 cards. And I don't think that took too long. And I hope you enjoyed the creations today. And I really hope that you sign up for our YouTube channel, check out our blog, and sign up to get your email notifications. We have a lot of great creations and some great stories and how ADHD has affected our lives personally. So I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you next Monday. Bye-bye.